Alright, welcome back to Fire Force Anime Review, episode number 71. We are here reviewing episode 63 for the series, which is called Birth. And this covers the Carousel history arc. Yeah, all 4 chapters in one episode, which probably makes this the first episode, probably the second episode only covers 4 episodes. 4 chapters. It's kind of interesting to do this because next week starts with the final pillar arc, and that's 6 chapters. Do I think they might cover that in just one episode? I would not be surprised, given the fact that last week's episode practically covered almost 9 chapters. 9! Which is shocking to say the least. So, by the way, She-Ra pops up a couple times this episode, mostly put in a flashback and a little bit present day, because it's related to like one of the pillars, and he's like, "Oh, what's all about be a fire soldier per se?" He pops up basically toward the end of the episode in a flashback, and that is it for him, because his whole episode focused on Sho and Arrow. So in Public Disguise, apparently the White Clients have no problem with him not being there, because he's not necessary to be there. So first of which, they go find the family registry, which they find no problem, and apparently publicly he is declared deceased, which he wasn't very surprised about. And then they go to the hospital, where, and this is interesting about him and She-Ra, there is no father listed. Yeah, no father. And according to the hospital, it was very heavily suspected that this might have been a virginal birth. A woman who somehow gets mysteriously pregnant without ever having sex. Yeah. You probably think, some adults might think that, oh, is this something else? No. As for how in the world She-Ra and Sho's mom got pregnant with both of them, it's not exactly very clear. Oh, by the way, the episode technically starts there. It starts out briefly with Captain Hiba looking at the moon, like, why does the moon look so different? Look like how children draw it. Yeah, it's the moon from Soul Eater that we experience here, because of course the creators in the manga for Fire Force also did Soul Eater, despite the fact that, well, Soul Eater anime was made by a completely different studio. This is made by their production, while in the case of Soul Eater and Soul Eater Not, that's made by Bones. And of course, this Electric pops up there with this, what looks to be like a triple on his head, which I thought this was kind of funny. And it's so fun to hear Ian Sinclair come out, his voice come out of a triple on his head. I thought that was funny. Yeah, it was so funny. And with this giant pill, where it's like half red, half blue. Here, swallow this big pill. I thought this was so funny. And of course, people from the company are like, oh, yeah, always licked. There's also a brief scene with the 2 guys from Hydra Industries, where the guy who's protector of, I think it was the 6th pillar, where he's not here in this episode. Nope. But apparently he finished battling one of those giants, and they keep bringing up, like, and he mentioned, oh yeah, the fact that I hate finding phones are really strong. And there's also a joke like, I might dock your pay, and of course he calls his boss a demon. Yeah, I got that advice. So, back to Sho. So, he gets info exactly what the heck happened here. So, apparently, Sho and Shiro's mom, where She-Ra, their mom, basically Maria, that's her name, where she got mysteriously pregnant, and never been with a man, never been in a relationship, where she's mysteriously pregnant. And the thing is, her parents are convinced that she slept with some random guy and had the baby. And then she had the baby pretty quickly. And apparently, her parent decided this owner just because she got pregnant. And she doesn't know who the father is. Of course, like I said, it's like, they think it's a random guy, and she has no idea who it is. So, and she gives birth to She-Ra, very healthy baby, named She-Ra, because apparently his job be the hero, which of course he turns out to be like that. And then she gets pregnant again, this time with Sho, And of course, they get the info from this from a guy who does a little mini like community journal, which, and apparently the journal, the whole thing, the virginal birth, he was about to publish it in that particular newsletter when the So Holy Church shows up. So it's assuming like one other person puts a stop to it. And he was questioned, like, why in the world would they basically do this for? Yeah. And then, of course, they make a connection to, of all people, Jesus. Yes. Where they think Jesus was a superhero. Yes, seriously. A guy who went around preaching peace. A superhero. Okay. That's perfectly fine. It's nothing really... Like, as somebody who goes to church, it doesn't really bother me very much at all. No, this is not offensive. Not really. Some people might find this offensive, but technically it doesn't bother me at all. Because, well, Jesus was supposed to be a savior of the world, and being a hero is kind of basically, well, that's kind of what it means to be a savior. So, there's nothing wrong here. If anybody has issue with this, please feel free to let comments below about basically this little scene here. So, after he hears all this, he briefly goes to the... Hey, someone connected to the Adult Link, where he gets contact with his mom, who is an Inferno, and apparently the whole thing, imagination in this world, is derived from, of all things, the Adult Link. And then of course the Shira stuff comes later on, and that's the episode in a nutshell, which is interesting. Yes, I thought this was a really good episode. It's kind of interesting though, unlike last week where they covered like almost 9 full chapters, today they covered 4. Like, okay. And the thing is, they have only like 10 episodes left. Yeah, 10. And they only have, if you're really curious, so since season started with 88 chapters. I think it was like 216 when the last season left off with. I think it was, yes. So because the fact the manga lasts 300, I think it was like 5 chapters, I think it was. So with this very episode, there's exactly, I kid you not, 72 chapters left. Yep, 72. Looking forward to discussing the rest. But like we said, it's kind of interesting though that both this and Dr. Stone has final season released this year. Of course, last year it was My Hero Academia. Now it's basically Fire Force and, well, Dr. Stone wrapping up this year, which is interesting. And these are really popular anime. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, notifications. Next up we have is Super Sentai. Okay, next video. Bye.